This conference will now be recorded.
At this moment, it is showing SAS Editor Untitled 1. Editor Untitled 1. Just below that, we have menu bar. Just below that, we have menu bar. And just below that, we have toolbar. Just below that, we have workspace. Beside the toolbar, we have command line. So this is title bar, and this is menu bar. This is toolbar. We can access tools from the toolbar, and this is command bar. Easy SAS commands that you can easily execute from the command bar. See here. So we have toolbar, beside the toolbar, command bar, and in the middle that you have workspace. So this is workspace. Okay, and we have message line, status line. You can see now message line is on the bottom right, left corner down. You can see left corner down message line. Now it is showing auto save complete there. On the right side you have status line. Left side, left corner down message line, right corner down status line. Status line will show you status of the cursor. Where exactly that you have your cursor. Where exactly you have your cursor. Okay, so my cursor is in now line number 2, column number 3. So this is status line. So we have 7 parts. If you look at the SAS window, we have 7 parts. Title bar, menu bar, command bar, toolbar, workspace, message line, status line. Okay, so we have types of the window. Types of the window. So we have editor window, you see. If you look at the bottom of the SAS window, you can see editor. In the editor window, we can write the program. We can edit the program, we can submit. Log will show you warnings, notes, messages, syntax. It is very important to check log after each and every program submission. It is important to check log after each and every program submission. As in when you run the program, you immediately come to log and check. Even though if you are getting the correct, even though if you are getting the results, better to check log. Sometimes you may get wrong results. So you just need to make sure there is no note, there is no warning, there is no error in the log window. Output will display the result. Output will display the result. So we have Explorer window. Using Explorer, we can easily explore the libraries. We can access libraries. See, we have different libraries. These are all list of libraries you can see. These are all list of libraries. So you can see we have result window. Initially result window will be empty, but as and when you execute the program, this will create a link to the output. This will create a link to the output. For each and every output, it will create one link. So that you can easily access the output. Let's say if you are submitting 20 programs, the 20 programs links will be in the result window. Ultimately, output only will display the result. But to navigate to that result, we'll have result window. Okay. So result window, Explorer window, output, log, editor. Okay. Let's say rules for the SAS names. So whenever you write the name, SAS names, we have a lot of SAS names. So it can be dataset name. It can be variable name. It can be format name. It can be dataset name, variable name, format name, or it can be library name. Okay, so we have library name also as SAS name. So it can be format name, variable name, library name, dataset name. Like this, we have so many names, array name, file name, lot of names that you have. So each and every name will start with either underscore or A to Z letters. Okay, each and every name, SAS name should start with either underscore or A to Z letter. That means should not start with number, starting one. So second character onwards, it can be number. Second character onwards, it can be number. So it can be number, 0 to 9 number. It can be underscore. It can be A to Z letter. And most of the names you can write up to 32 characters. Few names up to 8 characters. Most of the names up to 32 characters, few names up to 8 characters. So it is not case sensitive. It can be in uppercase, it can be in lowercase, it can be mixed case. Not case sensitive. Okay, it is not case sensitive. It can be combination of any case. And no special characters, no spaces allowed, no special characters allowed, except underscore. These are the important rules. You should know these rules for SAS names. Whenever you're writing a name, let's see. I'm just creating a data. SAS program consists of 2 blocks, data block, prog block. Data will start with data, end with run. And data will create a data set. When you are creating data set, we should give a name to the data set. Each and every data will be identified with certain name. We are giving that name here. Data EMP, employee salaries. Input. So input is to declare the variables. Input is to declare the variables. So when you're writing these variables also, we have to follow the, let's say, salary, sale, salary, sale. either cards or data lines. To declare the observations, either cards or data lines. Input is to declare the variables, cards is to declare the observations. Either cards or we can use data lines. ID, salary, sale. And what are all the names that we are using here? You can see. This block you already know. So this is data block. This block you already know. ID, salary, sale. ID, salary, sale. These are the SAS names. ID is a SAS name. Salary is a SAS name. Sale is also SAS name. EMP is a SAS name. When you're writing these names, you must be careful. When you're writing these names, you must be careful and you must follow all these rules. These are all valid SAS names you see. So let's say, is this a valid name? As a salary,
Yes.
I'm adding 7. Yes, it is because 7, that means the number can be in any place, should not start with number. If I write 7 salary, this is not valid, right? It should not start with number. Any name should not start with number. When you're starting any variable, any name, any SAS name, it can be variable or it can be any other name. It should be with either underscore or any letter A to Z. Okay, if I start with underscore also, that will be fine. Let's say underscore 7 salary also will be acceptable. Okay. So these are all the rules for the SAS name. If I add any special character also, it is not. Let's say. See, when I just run this one, this will show you error in the log window because it is not the valid name. See, underscore. So it is underlining ash and showing the symbol is not recognized. Okay. Right. Rules for the SAS statements. Each and every statement start with valid keyword. Each and every statement start with valid keyword. So this is a keyword. This is a valid keyword. This is a valid keyword. This is a valid keyword. You can easily recognize the valid keyword because it will be turned to blue color. So let's say if I just misspelled this data, this is not the valid keyword. See, it is showing red color. So end with semicolon. Each statement end with semicolon. Each statement start with valid keyword. These two are the important rules for the SAS statements. Okay. So let us learn SAS libraries for today. In this concept, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn how to create user-defined library. Let's say if I want to create my own library, let's say I'm working on one project which is oncology project. It's a cancer related project, healthcare related data that I have. So I would like to create one library with the name oncology because I would like to save all my files, all the oncology related data I would like to store in one library. It's kind of folder. Let's say in your regular PC, if you want to, let's say I have a group of files, these files. I just want to save all these in a folder, these files, let's say. What you do, you just create a folder and move all these to folder. In SAS also, we can create the library and we can save all our files in that library. Okay. So let us learn libraries. Let us learn first what is library. What is library? Library is nothing but collection of data sets. In fact, SAS files, collection of all the SAS files. It includes data sets. So another question, where can we see? Where can we access these libraries? Where can we access the libraries? We can access the libraries from the window, Explorer window, from here. On extreme left side, you have two windows, results window, Explorer window. From the Explorer, you can access the libraries. From the Explorer window, if you want to go back, so use the first tool. In the toolbar, use the first tool to go back. One level up, you can see. See? One level up, up one level. Okay. So we can access the libraries from the Explorer window. So we have two categories here. Category 1. For the libraries, you have two categories, category 1, category 2. So based on the category, based on the source of libraries, we have two types of libraries. System defined, user defined. System, user defined. So system defined libraries, user defined libraries. System defined, user defined. So system defined means by default, system will create these libraries. These are the default libraries. When you are installing SAS, whenever the SAS installed in your system, if you go to libraries, you will be able to see 6 libraries. Work, whenever you install SAS, you will be able to see 6 libraries, out of which these 3 are commonly used. User, help, work. Other 3 also there, but we will not use these much. These are added in the advanced version of SAS. We are using the SAS version 9.4. Previously, in 9.2, 9.1, 9.0, we don't have these libraries. 9.4, it is updated with the maps, maps SAS, maps GFK. Maps GFK, maps SAS. So total we have 6 libraries which are default system defined. See, help, user, work, maps SAS, map GFK, maps. System defined, 6 libraries, user defined. User can define their own libraries. But whenever you are creating user defined, you must have a folder. Folder where in your PC, in your computer, wherever it is, on the desktop, C drive, wherever it is, it can be empty folder or it can be with the files. Any folder path that you can take. That means while creating the user defined library, we are taking the external folder as a path, as a reference. We are using external folder as a reference. Okay. So now category 2, I'll explain how to create user defined. So we have category 2, temporary, permanent. Temporary libraries, permanent libraries. Temporary, permanent. Work is the only library which is temporary. Rest all permanent. Work is the only one which is temporary. Rest all permanent libraries. What does it mean, temporary? When you create a data set, when you create a file, it will save that file during that particular session. During that particular session. If I close the SAS session, work will be empty always. Whereas permanent, save the files permanently. Saves the file permanently. Until you delete them, SAS will not delete these files. So save the files permanently. You can see work is a temporary. I have so and so files in work. You see DS, demo1, demo, class, demo1, MEDI, report, MP. I'm just closing this session. I'm just closing the SAS session. I'm not saving while closing. So when I open the new session, when you go to work and see, work will be empty. It will not save the previous session files. You can see. If I go to libraries, work is empty. You can see. Work is empty. Work is empty, result also will be empty. Every time, whenever you open the new session, result will be empty, work will be empty. So work library is the default but temporary. Default but temporary. Okay, permanent will save the files permanently until you go and delete. It will not be deleted. Let us learn how to create user-defined libraries. There are two ways. 2 points that you need to know whenever you are creating new library. 2 points that you need to know. You must have a folder before you create library. You must make sure that you have a folder and you need to copy that folder path. You must have a folder and you need to copy the folder path. Okay. And one thing you must follow when you are creating user-defined library, you must follow SAS naming rules. Just now what we discussed. We have to follow those rules, and it can be up to 8 characters only. Up to 8 characters only. You must follow naming rules, and it can be up to 8 characters only. Okay. So let us see. There are 2 ways to create the libraries. There are 2 ways to create user-defined libraries. So one is using the statement called libname statement. Another one is using GUI method. What does it mean? GUI means graphic user interface. Graphic user interface. So here we are writing the statement. We are writing the code. In GUI method, what we do, we will use the navigation like this. We just go to create new library. Okay. We go to tools, new library. So when we are using the navigation path, it is called GUI method. We are not writing any code here to create the library. We are just following the path. That is called graphic user interface. We'll see both the methods. Clear, right? So this is a concept. In overall concept, what you need to know, you need to know how to create user-defined library, because nothing to do with the system-defined. System-defined default, it will become with the installation of SAS. It will become with the installation of SAS. But user-defined we create. Whenever we are working, you must know how to create the library. Library creation is very important and the basic thing that you need to know. Okay, and you also need to know how to save your file permanently, because work is default. If you create any data, it will be saved in work. But I don't want to make it in work. I don't want to save it in work. I would like to save it in other libraries which are permanent. You need to know 2 points. Okay, let us see. First one, libname statement. But before we go further, you must have a folder, right? Let us see. I have a folder SAS. I'm just clearing this folder. Now a SAS folder is empty folder. You can also use the folder with the files, but I'm using now empty folder. I already have a folder with the name SAS. So right click on the folder. Right click on the folder and click on the properties. Select the properties and security. Select the path. select the path. So right click on the folder, go to properties. Better you copy the path from the security. In the general also you have path location, but it will not include the folder name. Better you always copy the path from security. Object name you can copy. This you can copy. Okay. So lib name. First method, lib name. Name of the library. When you're writing this name, you have to follow the SAS naming conventions. Should start with either underscore or letter, not case sensitive, but library name up to only 8 characters. It will not accept if you write more than 8. So the first name that I can see, Bindu. In my GoToMeeting, first name that I can see, Bindu. I'm writing here. So this is valid name, starting with A to Z letter B, up to 8 characters only. No special characters are there. No spaces are there. Within the limit of 8 characters. Space within the quotations path. Whenever you're working in SAS, path always should be included in the quotation. Wherever, not only here. Wherever we use path, path must be in quotations. So I'm writing in the quotation semicolon. No need of run here. Do not use run. Lib name, name of the library, okay, and path. Run it. Select this, execute. There is a running man symbol in the toolbar. You can select submit, or you can go to tools and query. You can go to run and submit. So it is submitted now. Check log. So Bindu successfully assigned. Clear, right? So it is created. Bindu is created. So this is the way that you can create the library. Let us see how to create the file, how to create the library within using GUI method. So for this, no need to write any code, no need to write any program. Go to toolbar, new library. Toolbar, new library. Okay. So select new library. Name of the library. Let's say I'm going with Mahesh. The second name that I'm saying, Mahesh. I'll go with Mahesh. So it is valid name, you can see, and up to 8 characters. If I start using more than 8 characters, you see it is not accepting. So I'm just using RR. See, it's not accepting more than 8. Browse. If you already have path copied, you can paste it here, or you can browse the path. Go to folder wherever the folder is created. I have the folder here. Do not just select the folder and say OK. Open the folder, say OK. Say OK. You have another option there, enable it startup. That I'll explain later. Enable it startup means whenever you open SAS session, the library will be by default enabled. Otherwise, it will not be enabled by default. Now you can see Mahesh also created this one. So if I open, Mahesh will be empty and Bindu also will be empty. Why? Because there are no files created, and here SAS is also empty folder. SAS folder is also empty folder. Clear, right? Let me create one data. Now you know how to create the library. Either you can use libname statement or you can use GUI method, graphic user interface method. So data set name. Data set name. So data set name EMP. Input ID salary. Only two variables that I'm using. 100 salary 34,000. 101 32,000. Run. If I run this one, so where will SAS create this data set? In which library?
Bindu.
Saved? Folder file is saved?
Bindu.
I have not referenced Bindu here. Did I anywhere?
No. But it is recent path.
No. Until you mention Bindu, it will not be saved in Bindu. The default library is work. Work is temporary. At the same time, default. See, I'm not mentioning anywhere work.emp. Did I?
No.
I'm not using work.emp. See the log window. Dataset work.emp. Okay, dataset work.emp. It has two observations, two variables. Okay, I never referenced work.emp, but it is still showing in the work. So work is default, but at the same time, work is temporary. Then how do I save in Bindu? See, Bindu dot. This is just now what we created. So Bindu dot emp. You can run this. Now this will be saved in Bindu, which is permanent. See, Bindu dot emp. If you're not mentioning any library name, by default, it will get stored in work. See, if I open Bindu, emp will be there. Will it get saved on the folder also? Yes, because we are taking, while creating Bindu, we took the folder path, this path, SAS path. It will get saved here. Whatever the files that you update here, it will get updated in Bindu. Whatever the files that you save in Bindu, it will get updated here. Mirror image. Folder and the library mirror image. Because while creating library, we have used same path. Okay. Right. Now the question is, I never used mahesh.emp. Is the file also get saved in Mahesh? Or is the Mahesh still empty?
It won't save in Mahesh.
No, it will be in Mahesh.
It's saved in Mahesh.
right. It will get saved in Mahesh because while creating Mahesh also, I used same path. It will get reflected in Mahesh also. See, because the path is same that I used. So now, whatever the files that you saved in SAS folder, let's say, I have few files. I'm just copying these files to SAS folder. These are the data sets. I'm just copying these files to SAS folder. See, in addition to EMP, I have extra 5 more data sets. All these will get updated in both the libraries, Mahesh and Bindu, because for both the libraries, I used common path, same path. See, clear, right? So this is your library creation. Now you know how to create the library and how to save the data set in the specific library. Let us just recall the concept once more. Or you can tell me the syntax. Let's say I have SDTM. I have a folder SDTM. In SDTM, I have few files here, you can see. Only data sets that you can look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these files that I have, these data sets. See, from here to here. I have all these data sets. I just want to read all these data sets into SAS environment. I just want to read all these data sets into SAS environment. What do we do if I want to read all these data sets into SAS environment? You can simply create library by using that folder path as a reference. You can tell me, you know how to create the library using that path. Tell me, what should I do first?
Lib
Lib name. Library name, you can use any, no problem. You can use the same name also, SDTM. I would like to create one library with the name SDTM by taking
yeah,
all the files from the external folder.
SDTM.
SDTM,
You need to copy that path.
copy that path. So right click, properties, copy the path. Security, copy the path. Right, perfect. Semicolon. Check the list of libraries. Do you have any library with the name SDTM? Check with the S, starting with S. We don't have any libraries with the name SDTM. Why not I just run this one? See, SDTM will get created here. If I open, whatever the data sets that you have in the folder, SDTM folder, all will get selected in the library, SDTM. So this is a way that you can easily read the SAS data sets from external location to SAS environment. Okay.
Got it.
This is what name statement. In case if you want to make the library enable by default with the opening of SAS, with the starting of SAS. If you want to enable the library, better to create the library with the GUI method. Whenever you open library, whenever you open SAS, if you want to see that particular library, create using GUI method. Go to toolbar, open new library, click on enable it startup. Enable it startup means with the opening of SAS, with the starting of SAS session, by default, the library will get enabled. If you uncheck this one, library will not get enabled if you open the SAS session. It doesn't mean that it is temporary, it is permanent. But when you open the SAS session, library will not be available. It will not be enabled by default. Either you need to manually enable again, or simply you can use this. Okay. Just observe here. While creating Mahesh, I didn't select that option, enable at startup. While creating Bindu, there is no option because Bindu I created using libname. In the libname statement, we cannot use that option. Mahesh, I created with the GUI method, but I didn't use that option, enable at startup. I'm just closing this session. So in this session, I created 3 libraries, Mahesh, Bindu, SDTM. But all the three libraries, I have not used any enable it startup option. Okay, if I open the session again, see, if I open libraries, just see. SDTM is not there, Bindu is not there, Mahesh is not there. Does it mean it is temporary? It's not, because work is the only one which is temporary, rest of all permanent. What you need to do, you just need to enable it using again libname. Just define it again. The files, whatever there in the SDTM, it will get anyway uploaded here. See, files are permanent. Until you delete them from the folder, it will not get deleted. Okay. So every time you need to enable library whenever you open the session. If you don't want that, if you just want to enable the library every time when you open the session, better to create the library with GUI method. Select this option. Clear, right? So this is about libraries. Tomorrow we'll start with the options. Options are of 2 types: system options, dataset options. Okay, we'll discuss tomorrow. Same link, same time tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, for today I'm going to close the session. Okay.
Okay.
Any
Thank you.
question?